Hello all, welcome back to the second half of virtual Kosi River Rejuvenation Summit, hosted by Almora District Administration, Government of Uttarakhand, organized by Apple Digital News Network, supported by Ministry of Jal Shakti, Namami Ganga National Water Mission, supported by country partners Israel, Embassy of Israel, Embassy of Netherlands, Embassy of Hungary, supporting partner IIT Kanpur, and institutional partner GP1 National Institute of Himalayan Environment Almora. In the inaugural, we had a keynote address by UP Singh, Secretary Ministry of Jal Shakti and Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Government of India. He set the tone for the inaugural session. Before that, we have the welcome address by Nitin Bhadoria, Program Chair and District Minister, Almora, Government of Uttarakhand, is present with us for this session as well. This is a very special session, a session where we'll be seeing a lot of things on how Netherlands is doing river rejuvenation and how Netherlands and Government of Uttarakhand might be collaborating in future to share the best of the practices. For this, we have with us Maya Acharya, Senior Policy Advisor, Water and Infrastructure, Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands, New Delhi. Welcome, Maya Acharya.
Thank you.
We also have with us Nitin Bhadoria, District Minister, Almora, Government of Uttarakhand. Before we start Maya's session, let me request Nitin Bhadoria, the Program Chair of Virtual Kosi River Rejuvenation Summit, to say a few words for this special presentation.
Thank you, Shorik. I welcome Mayaji for today's session, and of course, as I added, I had the opportunity to stay in Netherlands for 3 to 4 weeks, and we traveled extensively across with a friend of mine in Netherlands. We went to Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Eindhoven, Tilburg, Tilburgen, The Hague, so on and so forth. And what I could say about Netherlands way of life is it is so sustainable. The first thing that comes to your mind is the sustainability of the natural resources and how they are using it to their benefit. So not only in river rejuvenation but also in terms of other areas, there is a lot of learning that could be taken from Netherlands way of doing things. And in today's session, I really want Almora to also the river rejuvenation that is happening in Kosi, to also learn from this, and if the collaboration can be taken up between Kosi Secretariat, GE Fund, and Netherlands, Embassy, we would like to take it forward in that direction. Thank you so much, Shorik.
Thanks, Nitin Singh Bhadoria, District Minister, Almora, Government of Uttarakhand, for setting the tone and what kind of collaboration a district administration looking for Netherlands and other countries. With this, I hand over the session to Maya Acharya from Embassy of Netherlands in New Delhi. Over to you, Maya.
Thank you so much, Shavik. In fact, it's a great pleasure and a great opportunity for me, I think, to be part of this event. And I'm very, in fact, the first session, which was kind of which started off where all the dignitaries were there and they were giving the presentations about the river Kosi, the way the rejuvenation program has started. And of course, I'm very, very thankful that Mr. Nitin Singh Bhadoria has really initiated this project. And I think, it'll be really very proud for us if we can be also associated in this great project, which is, which is the need of the hour. So thank you so much, Mr. Nitin Bhadoria, for joining in this session. And I'm so thankful to Shavik also for giving me this opportunity to really share some of the Dutch experiences regarding the river rejuvenation program. So maybe, Shavik, if I can start with the presentation. I'm sorry, you will have to help me out. Thank you so much. So maybe the next slide. So I would like to first talk a little bit about the Netherlands, the rivers. So as you all know that Netherlands, it lies in a delta, and which enables 3 major rivers, the Rhine, Meuse, and Scheldt, to flow out to the sea. So without the dikes and without the coastal dunes, around 2/3 of the Netherlands would actually be flooded. So flood protection, therefore, has been a very important and a high priority in water management for the Dutch Ministry of Infrastructure and Environment. So in the 90s, the Dutch rivers, they swelled to unprecedented levels, and large tracts of farmland were inundated. So as a consequence, what happened was the Dutch government, they started to look into different measures to protect the river regions against flooding. And that's when, this concept of the room for river, so maybe the next slide, the room for river concept was born. Can we show the next slide, please? Yeah. So this is when the concept of room for river was born. And in fact, this program, as you can see on the screen, the goal of the room for river is to give the rivers more room and to be able to safely process the highly water levels. And this is a program which kind of, has been, it's a collaboration by the provinces, the municipalities, the various water boards, the government, to really bring, this program, to make this program a big success. So in fact, this program, this is kind of also been collaborated by the neighboring countries. So the countries through which the Rhine, the Meuse, and the Scheldt, they flow. So all of them, in fact, all the countries, they closely, they cooperate closely on this program, flood protection program. And these countries are the Netherlands, Belgium, France, and Germany. So this program, in fact, it has really acclaimed a lot of praise from the different countries, because it has been a very successful program. So this approach, basically this program, Room for River, it comprises of a set of measures which are being taken to provide more space and more room for the rivers to flow. And that's the reason why this program is called Room for River program. And this program is mainly, the strategy is to work more with nature. So in fact, a lot of natural processes like wind, water, sediment, vegetation, what in fact was also shared in the previous session, where Professor Rawat was also mentioning about it. And in fact, Sir Mr. UP Singh was also kind of mentioning that it's very important to have these natural processes to really, make the ecosystem more sustainable. So, and in fact, this model, this Room for River model, is it helps in building resilient and adaptable human settlements near water. And that has caught the attention of the world in the context of, as we're all aware about these issues of climate change and sea level rise. I would just like to mention, so if you can go to the next slide, please. So this Room for River, these are some of the kind of activities or the measures which are normally taken, like deepening of the riverbed, or provision of water storage, strengthening of the dikes, the dike relocation, high water channels, lowering of floodplains, lowering of the groins, depouldering, and removing of the obstacles. So these are some of the measures, they're all natural ways of making room for the river. So, and of course, there have been a lot of rivers in Netherlands which have been following this. In fact, this program actually in the Netherlands, it started in the year 2007, and it completed in 2015 with a series of about 39 projects across the rivers of the Netherlands to increase their discharge capacity. So let me now now that I've shared with you a little bit about this program, which is a very big success, I would now like to, can I have the next slide, please? I would now like to highlight some of the Dutch engagements in river rejuvenation. So I would like to kind of explain some examples on which we are working on. Can we have the next slide, please? So let me start with the Ganges. So in fact, as you all know, that India is facing a huge challenge regarding waste management, particularly the pollution of water systems. And of course, Ganga is one of the rivers in India which has a strong cultural and a religious significance. And its waters are unfortunately also heavily polluted, as well as the river banks, the groundwater. So as we all know that the Indian government, especially Prime Minister Modi, has really kind of taken a deep, you can say a vow to kind of, a big commitment to clean the river Ganges. And in fact, the Dutch government, together with the Dutch water sector, because the water sector is very renowned, as you mentioned, about the expertise and the knowledge on the water management and the treatment. So in fact, the Dutch government, together with the Indian government, they have adhered to this challenge and this commitment. And that's the reason why you can see on the slide that Prime Minister Modi, when he visited the Netherlands, he had discussions with Prime Minister Mark Rutte from the Netherlands. And jointly, they have decided to both the governments have decided to clean up the river Ganga. So it's a very big program which we are working on. And so a lot of joint initiatives are there to contribute to river Ganga. Can I have the next slide, please? So, in fact, in this regarding this rejuvenation program, the first program which we have launched, it's as you can see on the slide, it's a kind of an inauguration of Kanpur Unnao leather cluster, which has been inaugurated by our earlier ambassador, along with Mr. Mathuria, who was present at that time from the National Mission for Clean Ganga. So it is a big program which we have launched, where 3.5 million euros from the Netherlands governments have been put in this project under the Namami Gange initiative. And it's a PPP, it's a private public-private partnership, and the consortia partners, of course, are the Dutch companies like Solidaridad. In fact, I must mention that Solidaridad has really taken a lead in this program. And we have developed this program jointly with the efforts of Solidaridad, PUM. It's an organization from the Netherlands of experts from there. Stahl is a very big company from the Netherlands, which is into leather chemicals. And of course, we have the support we have the support and the blessings of the UP government. So UP Leather Industry Association, Small Tanners Association, Ganga Pollution Control Unit, and our technical partners for this program is Central Leather Research Institute. So this program is it's kind of an effort in the National Mission for Clean Ganga initiative, which is titled as Pollution Prevention and Efficient Water Use in Kanpur Unnao Leather Cluster. So as you all know, leather is a very big pollutant. It's a very important industry, but again, it's a very polluting industry. So we really felt that this is one of the industries where we should bring in a lot of eco-friendly technologies. We should be able to come up with, demonstrate the, how we can bring the TDS down, the effluents, how we can reduce the load of the effluents. And in fact, this is an initiative towards that end. Can I have the next slide, please? So this program, as I mentioned, so there were two industries, of course, we are looking at. One is the leather, and the second is sugarcane. Again, as you know, sugarcane is a big guzzler of water. So we have it's one of the projects, again, complementary to this program of leather, where we are working on. So this is something which we are really we are trying to see. Can we have the next slide, please? So these are some of the best practices in the leather project, which we are looking at, like how we can, how we have been able to bring down the BOD, the COD, the TDS, the sludge. In fact, let me mention that sludge, which is a part of this, it has been used as, it's a waste which has been created into value. So sludge has been used for making tiles. You can see in one of the slides that, this sludge which has come out, it has been used to make tiles. Then there are these, the leather trimmings, they have been used to make bags. In fact, the bags can be also can be used for exports. So there are lots of good interventions which we are trying to make in this program. And in fact, just to kind of mention that this project has been pretty successful. And in fact, Stahl, the company which is one of the consortium partners in this program, they have set up a center of excellence in the city of Kanpur, which is again, to demonstrate, to adopt, to demonstrate these technologies, the eco-friendly technologies to the tanners, so that the tanners they have shown their interest to adopt the introduced practices which are already there, and of course involve the sustainable initiatives. To again, another step forward has been that we have been able to kind of also take this project, again, it's an initiative for cleaning the Ganges, to Kolkata, to West Bengal, where again, there has been a launch. Just 2 days back, there was a launch of a program called the Bantala Leather Cluster in Kolkata, which is also aimed at reducing the effluent and the solid waste pollution issues. Again, this was a program we were very proud that the Chief Minister of West Bengal, Ms. Mamta Banerjee, and the Finance Minister and the other dignitaries were all present, including our ambassadors. So this is a program where European Union, the Netherlands, Italy, Germany, they're all present together. It's a joint collaborative effort, and we are very happy that we could also be a part of this a big program. And of course, it's just initiated, and yeah, so we will see that this program is also going to take into consideration the introduction of the various eco-friendly technologies, so that this project could also be kind of driven in a very sustainable way. Now, let me take you. So this is one of the programs, as I mentioned, about the leather, how we have been able to upscale it to different cities. Now, can I have the next slide, please? So so this is just an addition that, as we said, that Solidaridad, which has been one of the partners, they have been working with about 1 lakh sugarcane farmers in the UP district of Hardoi and Lakhimpur to promote the concept of more crop per drop. So on one side, we are doing the leather aspect, where we are looking at the treatment, the water treatment, and how we can bring the innovative technologies. On the other side, we are also looking at the agricultural aspect, where we are trying to see how we can promote the concept of more crop per drop. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is another program which we are working on. It's a Barapula drain in New Delhi, where we are kind of promoting this concept, which is called Lotus HR. So Lotus HR Lotus HR stands for Local Treatment of Urban Sewage Streams for Healthy Reuse. It's also a very big program, but of course it's more on the R&D front. So we have a lot of Indian and Dutch scientists who have come together to realize this network of wastewater treatment plants, so that again we can clean this polluted Barapula Nala drain, which again it kind of discharges in River Yamuna and ultimately in the Ganges. Next slide, please. This is another program which we have launched in UP. So this is called the Hinden. So I think the secretary in the first session, he did mention about the Hinden program. And in fact, we have initiated a program on the river Hinden. So this is also, as you know, Hinden is of course a tributary of the river Yamuna, which again flows into river Ganga. And in fact, in 2018, a partnership declaration was signed between the government of Netherlands and the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh to clean the Hinden basin, with the perspective of scaling up to the larger Ganga basin. And this is, so we have developed something called the Waste to Wealth G2G program, which is to develop a solid waste management solution for the urban local bodies in two places, that is Ghaziabad and Muzaffarnagar. So to also look at the waste dumping sites, the waste collection over there, to address the contamination of waters from industrial effluent and the household sewage. And these are the two programs which we have just launched. In fact, we would have started with the operations, but because of the COVID pandemic, it's a bit stalled. But definitely we would be kind of, we will be starting the operations as soon as possible. Next slide, please. Now let me take you to another state, which is Kerala. So again, as you know, that Kerala has been witnessing a lot of floods since last 2-3 years, and so it has. They have really been having they have been having a lot of disasters over there. So Kerala government, in fact, they have with the technical assistance from United Nations, they also have been actively engaged in conducting a post-disaster needs assessment. And so, in fact, to this Dutch team from the Netherlands, they had come here to do a recce of the entire area and to provide the technical assistance. And in fact, Netherlands is providing assistance in the entire integrated water management in the Kuttanad region of Kerala, which is kind of, it's situated below the sea level, and it's the characteristics are somewhat the same as in the Netherlands. So, in fact, just 2 days back, we had a kind of a call with the dignitaries of government of Kerala. And in fact, it was very good to know that they have adopted the Room for River program, which I just shared in the beginning. So they have adopted the Room for River. And in fact, the secretary from the government of Kerala, he really expressed his appreciation to the Netherlands team. And he said that, in fact, because of this adoption of the Room for River program, which they have started off, they could tackle the issues this time when the floods came in Kerala. So the Kuttanad district, which was actually facing so much of problems, this time it was absolutely perfect. I mean, there was no flood in that situation. So that was something that was really heartening to know, that the Room for program has really helped the state of Kerala, to to ensure that for the mitigation of flood risk. So besides this Room for River, the Netherlands government is also kind of helping in a lot of, maybe I can have the next slide. Thank you. So in the next slide, as you are seeing, so there are a lot of activities which are also being taken up by the Netherlands team for the Kerala Rebuild Initiative. So these are all, to do with nature, living with water, building with nature, measures for flood risk management. So these are all the measures which are being kind of looked at, like the small scale dredging, the sand nourishment programs, coastal monitoring. These are some of the measures which are being emphasized by the Netherlands team, and how Kerala can relook into the flood management, and how they can mitigate the various issues of water and of course the flood management. Next slide, please. So this is something which we are again, we have developed the concept program for textile under the NMCG initiative. Again, we have done it with the Dutch company Solidaridad. It's again a great initiative which we are discussing, which we are working with the National Mission for Clean Ganga. And in fact, this is a program in Panipat, because Panipat in Haryana, it houses many small-scale textile units. And as you know, next to leather, textile is another industry which is very polluting. So we really want to take up this project under the NMCG initiative. We are already in discussions with a lot of Dutch companies, a lot of Dutch SMEs, the small-scale textile and the big textile. So this is a cluster in Haryana, which has about 500 units, and it is kind of housing about a lot of small scale, medium scale, and large scale. And it will be one of the programs where we would like to create a public-private partnership. We will try to again demonstrate the various innovative eco-friendly technologies in the industries to reduce the effluent load. We would also try to ensure that there is the fresh water withdrawal from the groundwater and river sources, they are reduced. And of course, we are also looking into the training and the capacity building of the industrial workforce on these new improved technologies and processes. So can I have the next slide, please? Yeah, so these are some of the projects which we are working on, and I would now like to just share another slide. This is my last slide, where I would like to mention that there are some upcoming calls which are coming up for collaboration. So the first call is called the Global Stars Call. So this is a call which is basically, a submission of proposals for joint research and development projects between the government of India and the Eureka member countries, which includes, of course, the Netherlands. And this call is basically to support these kind of R&D projects within the scope of key enabling technologies in agriculture, water, and health. The last date for submission is 30th of November. The second call, which is coming up, is on the NWO, DST, the Department of Science and Technology, India. And NWO is the counterpart of DST in the Netherlands. So we have the NWO DST call on Ganges cleaning and climate smart agriculture. So this is also another program which is for which the applications are invited. And the last date for applications submission is 26th of November. And the third program, which has just come out in last 2 days, just 2 days back, is the Horizon 2020. This is an EU R&D fund program, which is applicable for all kinds of programs. And it is a program, again, to look at what are the joint R&D efforts which can be taken in. So with this, of course, I thank, can I have the last slide, please? I would like to thank all the participants, and of course Mr. Bhaduria also. But But I would also like to indicate that since Mr. Bhaduria and your team, you are doing, you have taken such a lot of efforts in coming up with this Kosi River rejuvenation program, and I think it will be, we would be very happy if we could also see work out the possibilities of cooperation and collaboration in these areas. We could see which are the Dutch companies, how could we form a consortium, which are the projects where we could come in, and definitely it will be a, personally speaking, I think I'll be very happy and proud to be a part of your program also. So thank you so much, Shovik, once again for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Maya Acharya from the Embassy of Netherlands in India, in New Delhi, for touching upon very important issues when you started about the Maya Rhine, the Rhine Muse scale data, Delta region, and how protection for water management has been done in Netherlands. You talked about room for river, then you talked about particular projects where Dutch companies and Indian government are working together, be it Delhi, be it other part of the country. But most important part for this summit is that when you told Nitin Bhaduria, DM of Almora, that Embassy of Netherlands is keen to collaborate and cooperate with Almora District Administration for various aspects of Kosi River rejuvenation and maybe for any other water-related issues. So that's, I think, quite helpful for both Almora District Administration and also for Embassy of Netherlands in India. I'll request Nitin Bhaduria to kindly say 1 minute of vote of thanks to Maya Acharya before we move on to the next session.
Thank you so much, Mayaji. Of course, as the first step, we'd like you to come to Almora and see for yourself, what could be the areas of possible areas of collaboration.
Sure.
And of course, the COVID era is going on, and we all have masks and everything. But I think whenever you feel that you want to travel, I think we should get in touch, and then it would be really really our privilege that a district is partnering with the embassy together. And of course, we already have the secretariat over here. National Mission of Climate Change is based at GB Funds Institute. So I think we could go into a tripartite agreement and explore the areas of collaboration, not only in river rejuvenation but also in the other aspects of Himalayan environment. And thank you so much for Shovik for that Maya ji could make it over here, and for arranging this entire lecture. It has been beneficial for it. We are also telecasting it live to the entire Almora in a hall in a social distancing manner over here, which we'll be sending the photographs, sharing the photographs with Shovik soon. Thank you so much, Maya ji.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much. Before I wrap up this session, let me also inform our viewers that the entire event is being broadcasted live through Apple Digital News Network page in Facebook and YouTube also. So there also viewers can see and see the entire happening and make their comment. I can already see a lot of comments are coming live. And as Nitin Bhaduria said, that is also being broadcasted through Almora pages. I'm sure other embassy pages will be also broadcasting this. With this, thank you so much for joining us for this session. With this, we move on to the next session on redefining livelihood and ensuring sustainable agriculture ecosystem along the river. And I must tell you, Maya, that as Nitin Bhaduria said, even wearing a mask, you can go to Almora and you can fall in love with that place. It is truly amazing, Almora.
I have been there. So.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much once again. Thank you.